G'day guys, welcome back to Modified. We've got a massive UNIMOG. Look at that thing. All right, let's meet the owners and find out what this beast is all about. Pat, how are you?
Good to see you.
Yellow?
Nice to see you.
Esperance plates.
Yeah.
You bought it in Esperance, obviously.
It's almost home.
How long have you guys had it for?
Bought it in December 2020.
Yep. Nice. And where have you had it so far? Like, you've been all around the place, haven't you?
Mostly on the farm in Donnybrook. But we have been up to Broome, so we've done like the most of the west coast, just the touristy stuff. And then down to Esperance, and we did the track you did a couple of years back, out to Israelite Bay, Bilbunya Dunes. And
That would have been a bit tight in that thing, eh?
yeah,
Oh, yes.
we ripped off a couple side clearance slides, so gotta put new ones on.
The track's nice and wide now.
Yeah, it should be. Anyone who wants to take a UNIMOG down, it's free now.
Is it an apartment or a hotel?
I'd call it a 3-star hotel.
Come on, it's at least 5 stars. We have underfloor heating, which I think makes it a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds more than a 3-star, mate.
Yeah, all right, I'll take 5-star.
Oh, let's check this out. Let's look at these behemoth wheels,
Yeah.
tyres. What size are they?
So these are 395 85R20s. I think they're about a 46-inch equivalent.
46.
Yeah. They actually have the biggest tires you can put on most Unimogs is 53-inch.
Oh, really?
those
You
would
can
be
go to 53.
16 R20s, they'd be probably about there.
Wow. Would you have to do any suspension modification to fit that size?
You'd have to lift the cab. So you have to put cab, like where the cab's mounted there, you have to put blocks
like
underneath.
a body
it.
mount.
Yeah, body mount.
Far out. Yeah, this is big enough, I reckon.
This tire here weighs about 120 kilos.
So how the heck would you change one of these? Like, this would be like a 2-man process, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you just pick it up and carry it back. No, you have to roll it around. So you pull it off, wiggle it around until it comes off the studs, and then you roll it to the back. And then you take the winch and winch it up and put it on the spare wheel.
Oh, right. So you can just winch them up. You can't crane it around and down.
No.
So you got to physically do it.
Yeah.
How many have you done at once?
Have had to change 2 on the track at the same time.
Oh. Oh, that was on that Bilbunya run,
Yeah,
right?
that was the Bilbunya run. Yeah, that was
Ouch.
bit interesting.
Lucky you're carrying 2, eh?
Yeah, if not, we would have been in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, you would've.
70 k's from the blacktop.
And
so.
it's not an easy 70 k's out that way either. It's rough.
No,
You might as well do 400 k's on normal road.
Yeah, I think our average speed was about 8 k's an hour.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
What pressure would you take this down to on the beach?
Out at Bilbunya, we were down to 20 psi. You could probably go a bit lower, but there's no bead locks in this yet. So that's one thing we still have to get, is to get the inner bead lock so it actually can't come off the rim.
It's a highway pressure.
So right now they're probably about 85.
85.
So we put in earth mover valves actually, so that's not a standard trader valve, it's an earth mover valve.
This episode of Modified is sponsored by the Terrain Tamer eStore. So if you're looking for replacement parts for your four-wheel drive, I would definitely recommend checking them out because they'll probably have what you need. All right, folks, let's get back to this awesome rig. Suspension, what do we got on this? Is a stock, right?
Stock suspension, yeah, so coils all around.
Okay, so no one really changes them.
No, you can. If you have flat trays, you can get bigger springs for them. It's like, I think, a 3-inch lift or something like that. But yeah, if you have something heavy on the back, it's usually not.
Look at these cool, it's like a spring inside a spring.
Yeah, it's 2 springs. So the bottom one, the small one on the inside actually doesn't compress until like a lot of weight's on it.
And with the shocks, are these good, the shocks?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the ride like?
What do you reckon?
The ride's amazing, exactly what you would expect from an ex-army truck. I reckon we should get new shocks, right, Patrick?
So the cool thing about the Mogs is the portal axles, and it's a cool design because it keeps your diff higher and then gets geared down onto the actual main wheel shaft.
Hey Pat, the Doomsday truck, what was that?
That was a 1300.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the same wheelbase, but smaller chassis rails, smaller axles, 6 stud axles instead of the 10 stud axles. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Doomsday truck's big brother then?
On
big
steroids, yeah.
This monster of a thing.
Yeah.
How much does it weigh?
So all up, filled up with fuel and water, it's 12 ton right at GVM.
12 ton.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. The box is made out of steel, so the frame is 3 mil SHS and then the sheeting's 2 mil.
12 ton.
12 ton.
Right. I didn't think it'd be that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a tank in the back.
Military bar with all these lifting hooks.
Yeah, so
things on?
pretty much these are actually
Helicopter
lifting
ones?
points. So yeah, the Chinook helicopters come and they take them off the ship and bring them to a war zone.
Before it was 12
Before
ton.
it had a big camper box on the back. Yeah, I don't think the Chinook will carry this anymore.
The big PTO winch.
PTO winch.
How do you use it?
There's a lever in the cab to turn on the PTO, and then this is the free spool for it. So actually that engages it, and that's your brake. So it's on free spool now. So in case you accidentally press a lever in the cab, you don't start winching your bar out or something like that. It'd be pretty expensive. The winch is rated for 6.5 tons, so a lot of people actually don't realize that it has a decoupling clutch at 6.5 tons. But if you weld the clutch together, it can pull 21.
21 tons. That'll be like a safety feature, yeah?
It is, yeah, because the Army guys like doing crazy stuff, so they didn't want people to snap the steel wires and stuff, because when those snap, they don't just go.
Yeah, boom. Something like that. Yeah. That would cause some serious damage.
Yep.
So you have used the winch?
We have, but not for ourselves. So we've just recovered other people with it, including our friend Skip in truck.
The Skip in truck. Everyone on modified says never on themselves.
Yeah. No, we've pulled a couple people across the beach.
Anything you hit's going to go underneath the car?
Pretty much, yeah. We have a cow dampener at the front.
A cow dampener.
So our MOG has an OM352A, so that means it's turboed, non-intercooled. It has about 160 horsepower, which is way underpowered. A lot of people go with bigger turbo intercooler. It does tend to make them lift heads or head gaskets. We decided to leave it as is, especially for this MOG, because we will build a future one, which is going to be future-proofed for family, in which case we'll upgrade the engine as well. All we've done in this one is pretty much added a new alternator so we can charge better with the DC-DC charger, and added an AC compressor just so we have air conditioning in the cab. Other than that, just make sure you change your oil every 5,000. It's pretty much one of the most reliable engines out there. You'd have to do a lot wrong to break this.
Well, we got the car level now. The truck.
The truck, yeah.
The monster. Run us through the frame. You've done that yourself, yeah?
Yeah, so we built these bars just kind of to protect the cab, mainly the windscreen and a bit of the sides. Yeah, we just got pipe, bent it up, welded it together.
Keeping branches off the window, keeping branches and knocking this over.
Yeah, pretty much, because that's plastic, so you don't want the branches.
Yeah.
A lot of people's snorkel heads get claimed by the bush.
Yeah,
so ours is still on there for now. It has a weighting depth of 120. That's because it actually pressurizes the whole drivetrain, all the axle, the torque tubes, the gearbox, everything under 120 just has 0.2 bar in it, so it has a weighting depth of 120. So 0.2 bar.
It's pressurized with air.
Yeah, it's pressurized with air. So
what else would it be pressurized with?
Water, oil.
Have you modified these to?
Yeah, so because we put the bigger tires on, we had to widen the mud guards up. So we've actually welded a strip in there.
And you've coated it with something
called bed armor, and you actually paint it on. You don't have to spray it on.
Fuel tanks. This is a smaller tank than the other side.
Yeah, that's the standard tank from the Army. That's 160 liters. Other tank on the other side's about 350.
Wow, 350 litre tank.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So how much total is 5?
Almost 500, yeah. Usable about 450.
How far does that get you?
On the road, we'd probably get about 1,500, 1,800.
That's a good range.
Depending on...
A lot of fuel though.
Depending on if we have a headwind or not.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
What's with the jerry can then?
That's emergency fuel pretty much, yeah.
How much water you got in your tank then? Like the water
Inside?
tank? Yeah.
We have two 200-litre tanks.
Nice. So one grey water, one drinking water, or just both drinking?
Grey water is actually underneath.
Okay.
That's 60 liters. This is my shed/workshop. So yeah, there we go. Workbench. Love this stuff.
That's the cool vise.
It's always good to have a vise. So yeah, this one you just clamp on. You can clamp it to the front bar as well if you need to.
UNIMOG, you need big tools.
Yeah, you need tools. So biggest spanner is the 32.
What's the most common spanner size you'd use on this?
Probably either 24 or 19. So 19's M12.
We're talking
24.
Big boys toys
M16,
here.
Yeah.
I see your jack in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't look that big, eh? But it's big enough, is it?
It's a 12-ton jack.
How far does it reach?
You have to, so if you have a flat tire, you have to jack it up.
Yeah.
Block it under with wood.
Okay, and then
jack it again.
So, and you can jack this with that?
Yeah. Yeah, 12 tons fine. I mean, you only have about 4 ton in axle.
Only 4 ton
Only
axle.
4 ton in axle.
Just one.
More than the whole Land Cruiser, but
Yeah, just one Land Cruiser each corner. What is that?
So that's actually where we keep our spare oil, like an oil pump to fill up the diffs and the portals and everything.
Oh, so it's just storage underneath the bed or
storage
something?
underneath the bed, yeah, because the bed's in the back here.
Yeah, cool.
So
How deep does it go in?
it goes all the way through.
We'll see on the other side.
And here we are, the other side. So this is like our main access hatch for the entire storage, and like the electrical system's there.
A lot of breakers there, isn't there? Circuit
Yeah,
breakers.
there's a lot of 240 volt circuits. Because yeah, it's a big 24 volt battery. So we've got 840 amp hours at 24 volts. So
840 amp hours.
at 24. So at 12 volt, that would have been 1600.
Insane.
80.
And
yeah.
what type of batteries are they?
Lithium.
Holy.
Yeah. So they're actually the lithium prismatic cells.
Yeah.
And we just got a bunch of prismatic cells and connected them all together.
Oh, you made your own battery?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And what is this?
That's the inverter. So that actually does solar charging, AC/DC charging, and the inverter. So 12 to 240.
How big is it?
5,000 watt.
5,000 watts.
Yeah,
What's the peak on it then?
8,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever gotten to that though.
Yeah. How many Unimogs can you run off that power?
None. Unimogs use a lot of power.
Far out, man.
Yeah.
That
No,
is so cool.
we need it for all the stuff we have inside because we have no gas.
Yeah.
So we cook on induction. We have an electric oven, hot water heater.
That's cool.
All right. Outdoor kitchen.
The outdoor kitchen.
The outdoor kitchen.
Is there an indoor kitchen as well?
There is.
Oh,
Yeah.
we'll look at that later then.
Yeah, we will.
Induction.
Everything's induction on this. Yeah, it's
Powered by the 5,000 watt inverter.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we've got plenty of power, and induction is the most efficient way of cooking. So
What does it draw?
peak, if you're using, because these are theoretically 2 zones,
Mhm.
you can use it as one. I think when you use both, it's 4,000 watts.
Wow. That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it makes sense for you to have that.
Yeah.
But for anyone else, probably not really, eh?
It's a lot of power. Obviously, like this is a residential one, so it's not made for a camper.
okay.
It's made for
Yeah.
house. Usually we cook inside. It's
Okay.
usually, most of the time I have to cook out here when I cook fish.
Okay.
Yella doesn't like me cooking fish inside.
That's probably a fair call, eh?
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to sleep in the fish smell.
No, no. What's that?
Oh, this is our balcony. So it's the slide out deck.
Get out of town.
Slides out
A
about
balcony.
Yeah, no legs. Free floating.
A balcony.
Yeah. Yeah, any 5-star hotel has a balcony, right?
Well, now it's a 5-star. This one's a 3-star.
I had to agree to the 5-star.
Show us how this works.
So pretty much footholds are here for if you don't want to pull out the stairs and everything, you just
Yeah.
climb up and down. So if we do shopping and stuff, we just climb up and I put everything up there for Yella and she puts it in the fridge and then we climb back down. And if we're set up for longer, we pull out the stairs. It just comes out like that, and then the stairs just fold down here.
Oh, no way. I thought it'd be a much harder process than that.
Let's check out the inside. Welcome to our 5-star hotel. We'll start first with our little seating corner and the bed. The seating corner can actually convert into a bed as well, which is super handy when you have guests over, which we had. So you can drop down the table, which is on a swivel mount. You can add in another piece of ply and then just move the cushions around so they fit perfectly in, and it's another single bed. Mostly we're using this space to get some work done on the laptop. We have Starlink, which keeps us connected, and we already had an incident where we broke our window and we needed some help, so we just quickly set it up in the bush and we were able to call the company. We have enough space to fit 2 people comfortably on here. This is where we're having dinner as well. And sometimes we have multiple people over and we're playing games, and we can actually fit 4 people, which is a bit tight, but it works. This is our queen size bed. We really love jumping into bed and have it all ready, so we decided to have a fixed bed. It's memory foam, super comfortable. And since we installed our split system, we have an aircon and a heater as well. And I stopped annoying Patrick in the morning because he loves his sleeping in time. Another feature that makes living in here super comfortable is our underfloor heating. Especially now heading into winter, it's super cozy. Can change the temperature and the time of the underfloor heating. So at the moment, the heating schedule is that it's always hot when we get up in the morning. Our fridge is a 230-liter Bushman fridge. It's actually quite spacey, but we still don't have enough space. It's always full. We always have to play Tetris after going to the shops. It's got a big freezer compartment as well, which is very important because Patrick loves his Ben & Jerry's cookie dough ice cream. He wouldn't survive without it. For the rest of the food, we built 2 pantries. They're slide-out pantries, just like that, full of food, like always. One at the top and one at the bottom. In this build, we tried to utilize all the space we have, so we built heaps of overhead cabinets. And when you have a look in here, it's full of clothes. So we have everything in little bags, makes it easier to just handle it and keep it organized. And then these are super easy to shut. The kitchen is probably one of my favorite areas in this Unimog build. I really love the benchtop. We decided to go for a wooden panel. We have induction cooking, keeps it safe, and we have a fully electrical build. We have no gas in here. Then a big sink to do the dishes. Patrick actually does the dishes sometimes. And my favorite part is the coffee machine. It took some time to convince Patrick, but in the end I got one. So now I have to make coffees and hot chocolate for Patrick every morning. To fix it down onto the bench top, we just took off the drip tray and then we put 2 screws in. They go all the way through. There's a little metal bit on the foot and it literally never fell off. You just have to be careful with the tray. Take it off before you go off-roading and make sure there's not much water in the tank, and then you'll be fine. This is our oven. It's super handy. It's got a microwave as well, so it's 2-in-1. It doesn't take much space. And it's literally just like a household oven. You can bake anything. It's got all the functions as well. It's just slightly smaller. We got a washing machine as well, which is super handy. We don't really like to go to laundromat. 2.5 kilogram capacity, and it's a dryer as well, so even on wet days we can dry our clothes. Something we didn't have in our last build was a bathroom, and we really missed it, so this time we made sure to have one. We got a rain shower head, which is so cool. We both always wanted to have one as a kid, and now that we built our own home, wanted to install one for sure. We got a little sink as well. It's just to wash your hands, brush your teeth, little tap, and a composting toilet. We got a lot of lighting in here, different LED strips, and we got them from Hayfully, and they're pretty cool because you can control them with an app. So let's say we want to turn off the main lights, we turn them off like this, turn them back on, and then we can change the brightness over here. Or if it's a strip that can do warm white, you can change the temperature of the lighting and then dim it as well.
This is Rhonda Delta. Is there an umbrella motel out there?
Raji, right here.
What are you talking to me on, mate?
This is a Orcom dual channel.
How do you find the radio?
It's not too bad actually. It was better than the last UHF we had.
Copy that. I see the antenna on the front cops something. What was the story behind that one?
Actually, 2 stories. So first, Carson and Maxine flicked up a rock with their combi and it came flying straight towards us and split the antenna. And then we went bush bashing right before Bilbania Dunes. And the antenna was kinked and facing in 2 directions at the same time. So we taped it up and kept going.
So you had dual channels and they put it into one.
Yeah, sounds about right.
How's the lighting going being so high on the roof? Does that work pretty good for you?
Yeah, I actually love it. We had to adjust them a bit because we were used to having, you know, spotties out the front on the bonnet. Yeah, on the roof is just a game changer. You see so much further. You just have to angle them slightly down or else you actually point at the sky, which is a bit weird. So when you adjust them, you actually have to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, copy that. And do you find that's enough light for your needs?
Plenty. We had some like little rock light or like the side lights to face out at an angle, and they just got bent by the bush. We just took those off because the high beams, because we have the steady Iris as headlights and the Type X Pro as the spotties, and they just make it driving like daylight pretty much. It's pretty good.
Does arriving to camp in the dark happen quite often to you guys?
We try not to, especially when we're off-roading, but when we are like traveling between places, it does. We'll do like long drives, especially because we're only driving, you know, we cruise at 75 on the highways. Taking long drives like between Port Hedland and Broome takes us 10 to 12 hours instead of what would take a normal car 5.
That's the big difference. Well guys, this is Rhonda Delta out. Do you want to just take us for a tour in the rest of the cab? I understand you're still building the cab, but yeah, just take us for a tour in the rest of it. Over.
Roger, I'll hand that to Yella as well.
All right, we haven't done much on the cab, but a little bit. And one of the main things was the sound and heat insulation. So we put 2 stages of car builders in and then a carpet on the floor. The back wall and the ceiling are not done yet, but it's made a huge difference and we're so happy we did it.
Yeah. Other than that, the main thing that we've done a lot of is pretty much our overhead like compartment here. We're in the process of actually putting in air conditioning at the moment, which is a real big one because it gets pretty hot in here when we're on long drives, especially up north. And then, you know, we have our switchboards, reversing camera, monitor. Yeah, the whole overhead's made for radio, and then we'll put some speakers on as well as soon as the AC lines are run. And cover that in stretch carpet as well. And that's going to be Yetta's job.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. Other than that, we're not planning on modifying seats or anything. We actually like the 3-seat configuration because a lot of people take the seats out and put in air ride seats, but then you only have 2 seats.
Yeah, and another thing our 3D printer came in handy is our light switch. So it's not a standard light switch. It's got all those stealth modes from the army, and it used to be a rubber one which fell apart into a million pieces. So we just printed out a new one, and it's neon yellow because it's so pretty. And I love it so much. But it does the job, so that's the most important thing.
Yep.
Welcome back to a rapid fire Q&A. We're sitting on the balcony. This is so cool. This is the coolest car yet with the whole setup, I reckon, because we've got a balcony here. I'm lost for words.
We agree.
It's definitely our favorite part about the build, and it took the longest to build as well.
Yeah, it was such a pain. It's like version 5 or something is what we're at now.
Oh, really? Version 5? So you said earlier it was like a 3-month process, right?
Yeah, it was 3 months. So we started the first time we built it, and then we weren't happy with it. So we scrapped the idea, had to grind and weld everything out again. Weld new stuff in, put a new one in. That one didn't work again, so yeah, version 5.
So how does it actually work?
It's just pretty much a platform that has a ball screw on it with a motor, almost like a windscreen wiper motor, and that just winds it out, pushes it out, pulls it back in.
Engineering at its best here, at its finest. What is the next mod? And we'll pass it to both of you just in case you disagree on something. I'm looking for something you guys disagree on.
Well, we're already halfway through the air conditioning. I would really like to get some new shocks, as I mentioned before, to hopefully make the ride a bit smoother and better.
What do you think? Coming for a ride later? See what you think?
I'm always up for a Unimog drive, yeah, for sure. What is the best part about this vehicle for you guys, like individually?
The best part about this vehicle is that we still have a tiny house and we can take it almost everywhere. That's what we really wanted, and we're glad we did it.
I agree. It's just nice, you know, some people buy a house by the beach and then 3 years later they get sick of it and they have to sell the house and move somewhere else. And when we get sick of the beach, we just drive off and go somewhere else.
That's such a cool answer. What's the worst part about owning a Unimog?
Owning an ex-army Unimog, the worst part is that nothing ever goes to plan. Something's always breaking, you're always fixing something.
You really have to stay on top of everything. Like, the first thing you do when you buy a Unimog is get a heat gun, measure all the temperatures all the time when you do longer drives, so you know when something's failing early. Yeah.
So you're saying like a heat gun on the wheels and the portal axles, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and the divs, the gearbox, yeah.
Good way to check if you got oil in the diff still, eh?
It is, yeah, because if they get hot, then you know there's no more oil left. You might want to refill it.
Because you mentioned earlier off camera that the previous owner forgot to, ran out of oil in the diff, and it cost him how much?
18 grand.
Ouch.
For an axle, yeah. Because you have to take the whole axle out, put a new axle in.
Yeah, and ship it to WA because nothing's in WA available for the Unimogs, or not much. So yeah, Too expensive. We don't want to do that.
What's the best trip you've done in this so far? I think I know the answer.
Israelite Bay, the Bunya Dunes.
Yeah, Point Culver, Tulina Cove. It was wild, 600 kilometers off-road, but amazing. The landscape is insane.
If we didn't do 2 tires, it would have been worth it.
I reckon it'd still be worth it if you did 4 tires.
Yeah, it was an expensive trip, you know. 1 tire isn't exactly cheap.
You're never going to forget that one though.
Never won't.
What was the most difficult thing to do to this vehicle apart from the balcony taking 3 months?
Getting on the road, like getting it to a point where we could live in it, or like halfway live in it and travel in it. Because we were constantly pushing back. Like when we first started, we said, 6 months, we'll be done in 6 months. And then after 6 months, we were like nowhere close to being done. Kept setting new goals, and it was like a constant struggle of trying to get to it, and you never made it. So it was like when we finally got to the point where we were like, all right, we're hitting the road. That was probably like, yeah, best moment.
Yeah, well, my family forced us to hit the road because my dad flew over and he was here for 5 weeks and he wanted to see something and we wanted to show him a lot. So we had to hit the road.
Who sponsors the show?
The Terrain Tamer.
eStore.
Check it out.
That's right. If you need parts for your 4-wheel drive, check them out. Guys, thank you so much for bringing this Unimog out. I appreciate you guys coming up. It was a bit of a drive and it takes a while in a Unimog.
Yeah, it does. We had to leave it half an hour early.
Those hills don't make it easy.
No, but I must say that you guys got to the meet point 15 minutes before we did, so well done. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And to all the members of the channel, thank you very much for the support. Check you guys out next time. Check you guys out next time. I'll see you guys next time.